Today I got this clock. And yes, I'm doing an in-depth style video because I freaking feel like it. But anyway, this is a 1880s Ingraham figure-8 mantel clock. It uses a 30-hour movement and it has an alarm in it. I got this at Scott's Old Time Clock Shop for $75, which, considering just how good of condition the case is in, I'd say that was probably one of the best deals I've ever actually gotten on a clock, because this thing is in almost immaculate condition. The case definitely was taken care of and was also probably restored at some point in the past. You can see the tablet is in excellent shape. Then it depicts various coral and shells and whatnot. And then there's the sides of the clock. It's just a straight grained veneer, I think. Whether it's a veneer or it's directly on the wood, I'm not sure. Yeah, guys, let's go ahead and open it up. The way you open these is you take the winding key and you put it on the lock, and then you just turn it and the door pops open, and then you can just open it like this. And then you can see there is the alarm, the bell for the alarm, the pedal and bob, and the gong, and you can see the hammer up there. That also has the instructions, which are completely blocked by everything inside of the case, so you can barely read any of it. But it is the Doric model. That's what Ingraham called their figure-8s like this, at least the 30-hour ones, as far as I know. See, there's the pendulum bob. It's brass, although it's a very dark brass. It almost looks like it's copper, but I think that's just oxidization or something. But whatever. And there's the the tiny bell for the alarm. But now you're probably wondering, what does it sound like? Well, I'll go ahead and show you. Being a 30-hour, it only chimes on the hour. And yes, the pinwheel that lifts the hammer for the hour strike is a little out of adjustment. It's clocked kind of weird, so the hammer is pulled really far back from the gong when it's not being used. And I will go ahead and demonstrate the alarm. I'm only going to wind it up about a turn and a half, because it's really freaking loud. And the alarm dial is a bit tricky to turn. The way you use these alarms is you turn the alarm dial so that the Roman numeral for whatever number hour you want the clock to be on is behind the hour hand. Right now it's currently set to around 5 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and set it for 11. I have to do this like this because it's really stiff to turn, and the clock doesn't weigh that much, so I have to hold it in place. It's 12. Okay, there's 11. And now it should go off somewhere within 11. I'm going to shut the door to make it a little bit less annoying. That's as far as I'm going to wind it up for the video, because my dad's asleep and I don't... This thing, you could probably hear it throughout the whole house, and I don't want to piss anybody off. But yeah, that's how you set the alarms on them. As you can tell, they're not very precise, because it went off 7 minutes after the hour. But oh well, it was the 1880s. What else are you gonna do? If I do a turnaround of the clock, you can see just how shiny the finish on it is. And there's the back. There's nothing really much to see on the back other than those 4 screws, but there is some signatures in there, but they're written in that unreadable cursive that everybody used to write in back then. And then on the bottom of the clock, there's nothing other than the carcass of a spider. But yeah, now I'll go ahead and take the dial off and show you the movement. Anyway, here is the dial. I think it might be a replacement that was made on like a computer and then printed off on this kind of aged white kind of card stock material. That's what it seems like, but it still looks very appropriate on the clock, even though those winding hole rings are a little worse for wear looking. Here's the back of the dial pan, which has quite a bit of writing on it, which says February 18th, 189, and then something else, like a little scribble. I don't know, I can't read hardly anything on there. I'm freaking blind, so, you know, but there's the dial. And then there is the Ingraham 30-hour movement that powers this clock. You can see it has the typical American special, that being a strip pallet recoil escapement. You can see there's the count wheel. In general, the movement's just your typical Ingraham 8-day movement, but just scaled down a little. And also configured so both sides wind clockwise as opposed to typical movements where the time side winds counterclockwise and the strike winds clockwise. See, there's the striking hammer and the gong down there, and that is the wire for the alarm. Okay, I'll go ahead and let you watch the movement in action. Has the typical Ingraham 1 tooth at a time count wheel advancement, which they kept using that up until, I think, actually I'm not too sure, but all I know is that they were still using that when most companies had moved on to the count wheel that just moves constantly, such as this sessions movement out of that case down there, where the count wheel just simply moves constantly. This movement, the ratchet failed on me, and I need to get that fixed, but I've been too lazy, so it's just been sitting on my desk this whole time. But yeah, there's that, and that's what it looks like with the door shut. Quite a small movement, but very clean. Very clean, and so far runs like a top. Also, another thing to note, that taper pin is a replacement. I put that in there because when I got the clock, the taper pin it had in it was that. And I had to use a toothpick to get it out so I could get the dial off. So I put that taper pin on there that I had lying around, and that fits it much better as opposed to that little stub of brass. And yes, this key is also a replacement. And here it is with my Waterbury and my Paraveil. And this is probably about all I'm able to fit on the front part of the bar, because now I have those 2 speakers there, which are hooked up to my stereo system back there. And then the Sessions 2 train is right here. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please contact a poison control center right away.